For those who don't know Melissa and didn't catch this story on our website, aptnnews.ca, bring us up to speed on what this is all about.
Right. So June 12th, a baby is born. The parents, this is in Kamloops, a hospital in Kamloops, into Indigenous parents. They're, of course, overjoyed. Birth of their first child. Very quickly, 90 minutes later, so an hour and a half after this child's born by C-section, social workers arrive to say that they are going to be apprehending the baby for neglect. So, of course, people think that how would you possibly neglect a child in an hour and a half of life, right? So that's what caught my attention, so I started looking into it. The baby wasn't apprehended that day. There was a maternal grandmother who was there, warded them off a bit for 2 days. They came back, social workers came back for a scheduled meeting. They were 2 hours late. The mom, who, like I said, had gone through a C-section, which is, of course, major abdominal surgery, she's sleeping, she's sedated by her doctor, and wakes up to find that her baby is gone. And the reason why they took the baby, according to an audio recording that I received yesterday with social workers and the parents, social workers say that the medical staff had said that this mother wasn't responding to cues. So the baby's born, mom just underwent surgery, kind of falls asleep, doctors sedate her, medical staff are saying, well, she's not up feeding her child, she's not getting up and looking after her child, which is outrageous to anybody who knows what a C-section involves. You're not able to get up and move and get your child. You are sedated, you're sleeping through it. Myself, I had a child 9 years ago, and I would wake up and doctors would, or nurses would say, you were asleep. We fed the baby, woke up hungry, we fed the baby, changed the baby, just decided to let you sleep. It seems that that is what happened with some patients, but didn't happen in this case.
So today is baby H, who we've been referring to the baby as, is baby H's 2-week birthday. Where do things stand? So
she's in foster care. She's not BC Family and Children's Ministry of Children and Family Development says that if they take a child, they would prefer to place the baby with family or extended family. That hasn't happened in this case. The baby was taken to a foster home in in Williams Lake. It's with a non-Indigenous foster parents. The parents have been, though, allowed to visit their baby. At least so the baby's 2 weeks old. They've seen the baby 4 times for 2 hours each time. Supervised visit. The first time, mom, again, who had been recovering from a C-section, was not overly fast walking to get to the meeting, and she got in the door a couple minutes late, and they said if she was ever late again, all future visits would be canceled. So this family is kind of caught in this torment of wanting to see their child, but being played as marionettes by a system that can make them do really anything. There's been a lot of backlash on social media. Lots of anti-CFS advocates have taken to this and have been relentless in pursuing the agencies and the workers that are responsible in this. And I think what that's done, and we've seen this happen in other cases as well, is it kind of lights the fire underneath these social workers to get the ball moving a little bit faster. The last time I had heard from the dad, he'd said that social workers had said that if they move in with one of their parents, so one of the grandmothers, they can get their baby back in 2 weeks. And I said to the dad, well, so why would they say to do that? And he says, I don't know, we're grown adults. There's no reason for us to be living with our parents, but they said that that's what has to happen. That's just an arbitrary thing that they picked. And the family feels that they have no choice. They've got to do that. So they'll be planning to move in with parents.
So this story has generated attention from other media in BC while you've been covering these types of CFS stories and questionable apprehensions for many months. It's new to many mainstream media. You were on Global News Radio Vancouver earlier this week. Let's take a listen.
Has there been violence in the home or something? I mean, there's got to be some reason. They wouldn't just come in and take a baby like that if they didn't have reasonable grounds.
And that's what we as regular citizens like to hope is the case, right?
Yeah,
that you have to have strong grounds.
Right.
But I keep finding in covering these, and this is not the first CFS questionable apprehension case that I found. I have one from Ontario. They seized 5 kids because somebody phoned and said this woman is a meth dealer. And this woman is not a meth dealer. It was just somebody who was angry about where this woman was living. It was like a landlord's ex-wife. A 6-month investigation later, no, she's not a meth dealer. Here's $1,500 worth of gift cards and your 5 children back. Sorry about that.
As we heard, there's disbelief that social workers take kids without good reason. What are your thoughts about non-Indigenous media's perspective on this issue?
Well, I think most Canadians believe that kids in care are there for good reason. And when you cover these stories, as often as I have here, as often as others at APTN have, you quickly realize that there are children who are in harm's way unless they're apprehended. There is that. There's this whole other element to CFS, or whatever you call it, regardless of what province or territory you're in, that there's too many questionable apprehensions. And then among the questionable apprehensions, we see some ridiculous apprehensions, such as there was one in Manitoba where that went viral on a Facebook Live feed. And very quickly, when people say, what are the grounds for this? They don't have grounds, so then they will turn around and give the kid back. But if there's not people watching, if you don't have that watchful eye, that lens, the public spectacle that falls out after these things happen, these things go unchecked and these kids are lost to the system for months or sometimes years. And if you're a vulnerable person, you're struggling, and it's tough being a new parent for anybody. You're a parent yourself. Those first few days you're full of questions, and if you don't have supports there with you, or you're not a sophisticated person, somebody comes in and throws this at you, you're almost paralyzed, silent, right? And that's how they get these kids, and then it's an uphill battle to get them back, and oftentimes for parents it's just too much. They crack under that.
Well, we'll have to leave it there, but we know you'll be continuing to watch this story. Appreciate you taking some time to speak with us about it.
Thank you.